See black marks going down already from the outside front row. This place is one of the toughest tracks to get power down on a restart.
Yeah, that inside line is such an advantage here. And then you see Christopher Bell get up underneath Cole Custer there to take the lead right off the bat. So the restarts are going to be critical today, but you do not want to be on the outside.
So that 7 car, Allgaier going to the outside. 22 is Austin Cindric. Just behind him, Gregson went from 2nd to 5th on this opening lap in the 9.
You can see the mist on the cameras as we're panning around the racetrack. We were just out there in our practice session, and every time you go through one of those little clouds of mist, it gets your attention, just in case you're wondering.
Got to be distracting. You see it here as we go on board with Ryan Preece.
Well, you just never know how hard it is actually raining. So you're depending upon the guys up on the spotter stand. NASCAR has people placed around the racetrack, and you're depending upon them to say it's raining too hard or not hard enough. But because on the windshield, it sure does look a lot harder.
23, John Hunter Nemechek on the move. His dad, Joe, won here a number of years ago, bringing Tyler Reddick with him. 2 cars started 12th, working the bottom line early on.
There's so much change in the series. You talk about Tyler Reddick in the 2, wins the championship at Junior Motorsports. Now he's at RCR. You saw John Hunter Nemechek go by in the 23 car there for GMS, and he was at Ganassi last year. So it's always interesting to me to see that mix of crew chief and driver and that chemistry that's developed between the guys. And you always have a lot of enthusiasm at the beginning of that relationship. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see as the year develops.
That 9 a little squirrely early, huh?
Yeah, as Kevin was saying, you know, if you miss your marks a little bit, you can lose a half second per side of the racetrack, and that's exactly what's happening. On top of that, John Hunter Nemechek is really painting that yellow line. And you can see the 9 trying to get down there now since he was passed by John.
This is the battle for second. 00 is Cole Custer. Just behind him, 22 of Austin Cindric. You know, Team Penske has never won here at Atlanta, one of 3 tracks where they've not been able to find victory lane in the Xfinity Series. I think Cindric gives them a real good shot. That 22 car in recent years has been great everywhere. And after a top 5 at Daytona, he's had 4 in a row in that category. The young kid from Mooresville, really confident right now. Just about halfway through stage 1 here at Atlanta, and the dominator so far has been Christopher Bell. Of course, he's in that 20, had a good run last week at Daytona. Second place is Cole Custer, who got the pole after qualifying was rained out. Look back to third, you see Justin Allgaier. 5 wins a season ago for the kid out of Illinois. Solid start here today. Rest of the top 5.
Oh man.
What's that feel like?
Yeah, that is loose. Little free off.
Yeah, and that's a really strange part of the racetrack. As you get up off the bottom, and if you're on those seams like there, you can see the left rear tire started on that seam, and then the right rear tire is on the seam, and once those tires get on the seam like that, it gets out of control.
So he was probably a little free before that, and as you're behind the wheel, you're trying to get enough momentum to cross the seam, and the right rear tire just got hung up on it, and dead sideways he was.
What's the latest on driver 7, Regan?
Well, as you guys saw right there, very loose when he went up top. A little surprising that he even headed up to the top of the racetrack. He told me before the race, because there was such a limited amount of practice this weekend, he didn't want to go up there and wear his tires out, so I'd expected to see him stay on the bottom like we see right now the rest of the day.
Take a bit of a conservative approach.
Every lap here is different, you know, for me at least. It's like you go in there and with the lap before you drove in there a little bit too hard, you back up, and then you're going too slow, and then you try to adjust the next lap, and then you hit the bump different, or you hit the apron too hard. There's just so many things going on inside the car here that it's hard to be consistent lap after lap and do the same things.
Just watching that in-car footage reminded me of something. I don't know if you do the same thing, but when you're following somebody through the center of the corner, you're hopeful that they don't get to the yellow line and take away all the air. And when they miss it, it gives you so much hope in the center of the turn. You're like, oh yes, I'm going to get a little air on my left front and plant the car.
Ryan Preece goes by Jeffrey Earnhardt, maybe not so fast. Earnhardt battling back, 2 laps to go. Opening stage, Christopher Bell leading his advantage almost to second over Cole Custer, who's the runner-up right now. Allgaier, Reddick, and Jones complete the top 5. I'm really impressed with the entire group from Joe Gibbs Racing. Bell, obviously, has led every lap. Good start for Jones, who's 5th. He's an Atlanta kid, always wants to do good here. And we talked earlier about Jeffrey Earnhardt, who's solidly inside the top 10. 1 lap to go here in this 40-lap stint to start things off.
I kind of feel like Christopher Bell has a future in racing. What do you guys think?
I think he's going to make it.
Okay.
How about this last year? He won 6 stages, but only one time did he do so on a 1.5 mile track. Of course, he won those 7 races last year. By far and away, the best year a rookie ever had in this series. He's picked up where he left off. 6th last week at Daytona, and he's going to win our opening stage here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Pace car is off. Green flag going back in the air to begin our second stage. Let's crank it up live from Atlanta.
Half bottom. Top of jack, 18er clear, 1 off. Still good, all bottom. Slow in front, go up top, you have to want it. Keep the momentum. Still inside, you're all clear, all clear.
We need some windshield wipers on those, cameras.
Yes, we do. Yes. There's Tyler Reddick, who had made all that ground up in the first stage, lost it on pit road, and he's circled back to the front. And Cole Custer fast as well, going to the outside of the 19 of Brandon Jones for the number 2 position.
It's been interesting watching a few guys really get the bottom working. Cole's been pretty disciplined in making it work and been putting pressure on the 19 for a while now. Also, Ryan Preece, Kevin and I were talking during commercial. Something's clicked and he's got it. He's got that left front and the left rear locked on that yellow line, and his car is cycling vertically through the swells as it should. But now that he's got that left rear locked on the line, it's not moving left to right and beating up the tires, and he's able to wrap that line really far around up off of turn 2.
Yeah. Brandon Jones, Matt, has a new crew chief in 2019. Jeff Mendering, Kevin's older brother that you're working with, Jimmy. Just keeping it all in the family there.
It is in the family, and those guys are pretty smart. I'm having a great time with Kevin, and it's great to see Jeff having his opportunity.
Nemechek went from 6th to 13th on those pit stops at the end of stage 1. They had a problem. 23 rowling back and trying to get in a position to get one of those stage points here at the end of this second stage.
Wow.
John Hunter was committed to that lane.
He was committed that Justin was going to let off, and luckily Justin did let off. So that probably won't make Mr. Allgaier very happy as he tries to get to the back bumper right there.
And the guy that might benefit, 98 of Chase Briscoe, who's just waiting for him to have some trouble. 3 laps to go, second stage.
The stage racing, man, it makes everybody do things that, gosh, we never thought about doing before. I've joked about it before, but Mark Martin watching this stuff's got to just lose his mind the way Mark taught us all to race so respectfully and point each other by, especially at a track like this. It's like, go ahead, go wear your stuff out, and when I get back to you, I expect that same respect in return.
This is the give and take of Atlanta, right? You pass a guy, you feel good about yourself, and then 6-8 laps later, he's going by you. 2 laps to go here. The pits are closed.
Well, it's just so easy to miss your mark here. And when you miss your mark and then you get hung on a seam, or you get stuck in the middle and then get hung on a seam again, the problem just compounds and piles up as you go through making a mistake, and it just costs you a ton of time.
Remember late in stage 1 when Cole Custer had pulled up to the backside of Christopher Bell? It's not happening in stage 2. The advantage for driver 20, almost 5 seconds as he goes off of turn 2.
He's been pretty dedicated around the top of 1 and 2, and then the bottom of 3 and 4. He's certainly got something working great for him.
Well, the hits just keep on coming. As he comes back and sees that green and white checkered flag, it will mark the first time that Bell in his Xfinity Series career has swept both stages of a race, just like Kevin did here a season ago. Bell batting 1,000.
A huge benefit for Reddick to have that inside lane on this restart. He's probably going to come out with the lead here, and Christopher Bell's going to lose the track position that he's had all afternoon, and we'll see how his car drives.
Allgaier's ready to go again in the outside lane.
He was right on the verge of passing before the start-finish line on the last restart, so he's definitely feels like he needs to get all he can at the beginning of the run, because I think his car gets loose as he runs it.
Chase Briscoe up to 5th in that 98. That orange car, as good as we've seen him all day long. Working on Jeffrey Earnhardt for position.
Now it's really hard for Reddick to control the race at this point. He's been chasing people all day long. Now it's about being smart and smooth and counting on the wake of air that's coming off your car to put Christopher Bell in that 20 at a disadvantage.
Everybody's been on pit road twice. At the end of stage 1, into stage 2. Pit window here somewhere 50 to 55 laps. They'll have to make one more stop, and everyone should have 2 sets of tires remaining. So we'll see how everything plays out here. Have not had a caution for incident yet today. And there's Cole Custer, who went from 2nd to 9th. As Matt talked about the problems on the pit stop, he's 8th right now and trying to get a position away from Noah Gragson. It's been a nice afternoon for Austin Cindric, Matt.
Absolutely. You know, I think Kevin knows more than most the challenges of bouncing from one team to another, especially back in his KHI days. He used the same pitboard sign to help that transition, but for Austin Cindric, 3 teams last year, he told me having just one team to focus on this year, it allows him to look at different aspects of his preparation, mentally coming into the event, and he's not having to worry about different crew guys and to make sure that they've got, you know, his different things that he needs. So really, he's expecting this to be a breakout year for him. His biggest focus, playoff points.
Bell feeling pressure as we see the 98 at Chase Briscoe. Tire problem there, gives up a position inside the top 10 to make an unscheduled stop, Regan.
Chase Briscoe had such a solid run from the back of the field going today, but he's got a right side tire that went down. He's going to have to hit pit road to get 4 tires and fix up the right side damage.
It won't be 2 years in a row to victory lane for the 98 team. Here's what happened.
That tire came apart. That right front tire was definitely coming apart.
That concerning for the rest of the competitors. Still 14 laps remaining. Look at this, 0.4 of a second. I mean, we've been letting it build, but Reddick is not going away. Down to 0.34 now with 8 to go, and there's a spin. And do we get a caution? Not yet. There it is. First caution for incident today, 8 to go, and everybody has a set of tires.
The game just changed.
Big time. You got to pit, right?
You have to pit.
You have to pit.
Tires are worth way too much here. So
1 to go, you still pit.
You talk about that first pit stall that Reddick has. It could pay off right here.
Nemechek was 9th. Coming off of turn 2, just couldn't save it.
And that's a you know, it's one of those situations where you come up off the yellow line and that car, depending upon how it bounces through the corner, will unload, and sometimes you just can't keep up with it.
Good news for him. I mean, he was 9th, only 12 cars on the lead lap. He's not going to lose a ton of ground here.
No, now he gets a set of tires, maybe gets to improve his position.
Time to make it happen. Green flag waving once again at Atlanta. There goes Reddick. He was blocked off by Earnhardt. Custer to the inside of Allgaier for 2nd. Restart violation on the 23 of John Hunter Nemechek as the leaders come back. 2 laps to go. They're side by side for the runner-up spot. That's Bell leading them around.
Well, and we see Cole Custer working his way back up through the field. They had a problem on a pit stop earlier, and now he's finally got the track position back. So it's going to be interesting to see if he can make up a little bit of ground on Christopher Bell, because he's had a great car on the short runs.
It is so tough to get back in the game here when you have a problem. A number of guys have done it today. You talk about Cole Custer, Brandon Jones doing the same. And there they are going at it for 5th. Earnhardt and Reddick. Custer is right on the tail end of Bell. White flag is out.
We got a race here, boys.
Christopher Bell has dominated this race, leading 142 laps. A late caution, a big restart, and Cole Custer trying to chase him down.
Your entry. Wrap your bottom.
Spotter did his job letting Bell know that the 00 closed on him in 1 and 2 in the top last time through.
Bell won 7 times last year, picking up where he left off. His 9th career victory comes today at Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Great job, guys. Thank you.
Christopher Bell sweeps the day here in Atlanta. So do you think if he didn't go to the high side on the last lap, he was going to have the momentum to make the run?
He probably would have. Man, the top is just so good over there in 1 and 2, and even there on that long run coming to 5 to go, I knew I was going to have to move up to block the the 2 car at some point, and just really struggling there. But man, very thankful and very fortunate to be able to drive this Rheem Camry, his Rheem Supra, and it's the first Supra win in the NASCAR Xfinity Series, so that means a lot to me to be able to become the first driver to win this. And I'm really happy for all of our partners at Rude, Toyota, everyone at Toyota Racing Development. Thank you. This Supra is awesome. Looks great, and it's fast too. So a lot of fun, and man, I'm just honored to be here.